served his country, and under state law should have had a military burial with honors. But a Sacramento woman says her father was mistakenly buried in a single grave with hundreds of other people.
I was sickened. I was just sick to my stomach.
Tonight in a KCRA 3 investigation, Kevin Oliver looks at how this mistake was made.
And what has happened with thousands of other people buried in county's community graves. Kevin?
Well, Kelly and Rob, the county cremates about 250 people every year and buries them, people who don't have the money or the family to pay for the services. The plots are simply marked by the years. And the discovery of one veteran in the communal grave is raising questions about everyone else buried there.
This was the first time Michelle Hernandez has visited the grave bearing her father's name, Edward Nellis.
I love you and I miss you, Dad.
She arrived with a friend, dreading this visit.
I'm sorry this was handled so badly. I didn't deserve it.
It took 8 years for her father to find his final resting place in this national cemetery. And yet, even now, Hernandez is still not sure it's really her father buried here.
I want to believe that that's him that I'm paying respects to.
This would be him in the front with other relatives.
Hernandez hadn't seen her father since she was in her early teens. Nellis divorced his wife and lived for decades on the street. Hernandez believes her father suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder following the Vietnam War. An Air Force navigator with an MBA, he died alone and penniless.
It took them 8 months to contact us, and they found my mom through DMV records.
When Sacramento County staff got hold of Hernandez, they told her he had been buried here in the San Joaquin Valley National Cemetery, where thousands of other veterans are buried.
I was content knowing that he, as my father and a U.S. veteran, was laid to rest accordingly with honors, and never did I dream that that wasn't the case.
But when his daughter Michelle went to look for him here at this cemetery, she couldn't find his gravesite or any record of him.
She called the Sacramento County Coroner's Office and discovered he was never buried here at the National Cemetery. County records show Nellis was cremated here at Evergreen Memorial Funeral Home in South Sacramento in 2005. But his ashes weren't buried until 2007. Instead of getting a 21-gun salute like other veterans buried with honors, his remains sat for 2 years in a plastic urn similar to this. And when he was buried, instead of honoring his service by being placed in a cemetery with uniformed rows of marked gravestones and manicured lawns, he ended up here in a communal grave with more than 100 other people, all under one marker.
I was sickened. I was just sick to my stomach to think that that was my dad, that was someone's grandpa, that was, you know, a veteran, and he didn't deserve to be treated. Now I've got to go track him down, and understanding that he was buried with mass bodies, it's just hard. He didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve that at all.
The county has a contract to bury the indigent here in Camellia Memorial Lawn. Every year, on average, the ashes of 250 people are placed in individual plastic boxes and buried in rows and stacks. It's done that way so the remains can be easily located if someone comes forward.
So how does a veteran like Nellis end up in a communal grave? Neither the Sacramento County Coroner nor the County Public Administrator, which oversees indigent burials, would talk to us, because Hernandez is suing the county over this very issue.
Internal memos show in 2013 county staff admitted to the mistake and agreed to move Nellis's remains to the Veterans Cemetery in Dixon.
I don't know how many other people this may have happened to, and just by chance I, went looking for him and found out that he wasn't where they said he was.
The mix-up also has veterans groups concerned.
It's totally appalled. It's a travesty.
Vivian Yamamoto of the Blue Star Moms questions how many other veterans were not buried with honors.
And I'm sure there's probably others, not just here in Sacramento County, but throughout the United States.
We wanted to know who the others are buried in Sacramento County's communal graves and whether any more are veterans. But the county repeatedly denied our public records requests, citing the privacy of the dead and their relatives. And the documents the county has provided in court contains page after page after page of blacked out names. In an email to KCRA3, a county attorney did admit that not every family has been provided with notification of death.
I would have loved to have, if I had known, I would have loved to have had contact with him. Could I have found him?
Hernandez wants to hold the county accountable so it doesn't happen to other families.
I want them to know that this has, affected me greatly, and it's not okay what they did.
Now, state law actually prohibits veterans from being buried in a so-called pauper's grave, and as long as veterans were not dishonorably discharged, they're entitled to vaults or plots in a veteran's